Yo, what's up, Tom Ross? What's good with you, brother?
What's up, man? What's up? It's Tom Ross TV. So hit that like I'm here with your boy. He knows everything. And man, we got a doozy here.
Man, listen, man. I see this shit, dog. This feeling, it's got me feeling some type of way. Got me
Right,
feeling some type of way. Niggas on YouTube acting like they the ones that say this shit. Y'all didn't say shit.
right,
There's only been two motherfuckers from day one. If y'all look at the receipts from 2019, that's been saying that Spence is the shit. And that
right.
Terence Crawford was gonna duck Errol Spence. We've been the only two motherfuckers, and I have to give a third person credit by the name of Ox Steel.
I still
That's my nigga right there. We the only motherfuckers that said Earl Spence definitively will wash Terence Crawford. You got niggas on their soapbox right now live acting like they said this shit.
right.
And so we got to go live. We have to do this impromptu live because we have to remind the world that he knows and Tom Ross has no fucking equals.
My fault, man.
We got
Anyway,
no
what happened?
fucking equals, man. We
Right,
have no fucking equals when it comes to this shit. And we told motherfuckers that Terence Crawford had nervous fucking energy. That Terence Crawford didn't want this free smoke after he saw you, Dennis Ugas, damn near was on the operating table for 40 plus hours. He saw that eye. He saw Spence called his rabbit ass out right after the fight and said, I'm going to take your janky ass belt. If y'all ever
hmm
watched the movie Janky, you know what I'm fucking talking about. Janky promoters. I'm coming to take your janky shit. I'm coming to
right.
take your what Bob orders belt shit. It's only been two motherfuckers that say that. That's why I'm definitive. You got a lot of 50-50 motherfuckers out here on the YouTube world. I told you guys about 50-50. If you get 50% of yourself, you a 50-50 motherfucker. I'm 100%. I'm definitive. I'm absolute and resolute in what the fuck I say. Ross is absolute and resolute in what the fuck he said. Ross told y'all Terence Crawford didn't want that fight.
You know what?
That's why his ass was with Top Rank. I told y'all Earl Spence is gonna park this motherfucker. I told y'all this is the easiest fight that Earl Spence is gonna have in his boxing life in years. And I went as far as to tell y'all that Terence Crawford is the black Mikey Garcia. Let me throw the alley oop, Ross. Talk to these motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, man. So back when Terrence Crawford first came to the welterweight division, and when he did a switch from Top Rank to the PBC, when he got to the welterweight division, I knew right then and there this man was not interested in finding the best fighters at 147. He was not interested at all. Then what boistered my original opinion of him is when Errol Spence got hurt. Errol Spence is gone. He out the game now. He injured. Car accident. What's your excuse now for not fighting any top fighters? You got both Danny Garcia and you got Sean Porter. Both one's your mandatory, one's the number one contender. These are mandatory fights. What was your excuse for ducking those fights at that time? You
Mm-hmm.
let Errol Spence come all the way back you let Errol Spence come all the way back from being injured to fight your mandatories. How is that?
Yep.
Let's be honest. If we looking at it, the WBO belt is a franchise belt, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're trying to protect you, they'll have it so you don't gotta fight nobody. You can just have that belt, man.
Facts.
And you don't really gotta fight nobody, man. That's why the WBO is not respected. And they
Mm-hmm.
should go back to how it used to be: IBF, WBC, and WBA.
Facts.
Because after a while, especially the IBF, they'll strip your ass quick. Them three associations, federations, and councils, they'll strip your fucking ass, man.
Yep.
Terrence Crawford, he knew what he was doing. That's why he ain't never held no WBC belt
Facts.
at welterweight, because he know he will have to fight somebody once he get that belt.
He'd have to fight a Danny Garcia. He'd
He
have
would
to fight a Sean Porter.
he would have to fight the best fighters when he get the WBC, the WBA, and IBO. That's why he went for the WBO, man. Everybody had the WBO. All the weakest guys at welterweight have always had the WBO, man. They stay with the WBO. The WBO ain't shit.
Pause for a second, Ross. Light up the bomb one said, I'm glad Earl let everybody know the truth. Light up the bomb one. If you was listening to He Knows and Tom Ross, you wouldn't need Earl to tell you that shit. We was the mouthpiece for Earl back in 2019. We been told y'all that shit. If y'all was paying attention and listening, the gems and the jewels that we was dropping, the mic drop moments that we had, we told y'all motherfuckers. The problem with y'all is y'all are not definitive in the way that y'all see shit. I'm a definitive person in my life. My whole bone, my anatomy, my cellular structure is definitive. If I'm not definitive, take a gun, put it to my head, and off me. I don't want to be on this planet. When I make a decision, it's definitive, good, bad, or the ugly. I don't know if y'all ever watched that Clint Eastwood movie. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
Ross is another nigga that I can say definitively that's like that. We're definitive. We make a decision. We double down on that bad boy and we lay it with confidence and fortitude. Motherfuckers was wondering why I'm so definitive with Spence. Look at the body language. Look at what just came out. Y'all just realizing this shit in 2022. But we told y'all in 2019. Go look at this live exclusively. And it's called Double Standards that's associated with boxing 2019. Go look in the catalog of He Knows His Sport, formerly known as, now known as He Knows Everything. Go listen to Tom Ross TV when the motherfucker said Terence Crawford is ducking that free smoke. He never wanted that fight. Alley-oop back, dog.
And that's what I love about Errol. Errol not gonna sit and just be talking just to be talking. But when he says something, it's gonna be something you have to sit down and you have to listen to. The whole time Terence Crawford been talking, Errol Spence been letting this nigga talk. No, and behind the scenes, Errol Spence's their lawyers are talking, right? They're sending contracts back and forth. Errol Spence sending the contract, Terence Crawford crying, find something wrong with it. Errol Spence sending it back. So now, after they done did it for so long, for months upon months, Errol Spence has finally spoken up, but he ain't speak with no rhetoric or just vain talking. Errol Spence, he spoke with documents from lawyers saying, "Man, we done tried to do this, we tried to do that, we done tried to appease Crawford. In the last 2 weeks, we ain't even heard from Crawford since we made the last change on the contract. We ain't heard from him." So Crawford clearly, like I said before, this ain't nothing but confirmation for what I already said and what we all agreed to. Terence Crawford never wanted that fight.
He never wanted that free smoke.
It's as simple as plain. He never want. He said he wanted to get into the ocean with the big fish, but he only went ankle high.
Exactly.
He only went ankle high. The
Yep.
big fish is all the way out there, boy. You gotta submerge. You
Yep.
gotta submerge to get to the big fish,
You
man.
got to go into that deep waters.
And you gotta let the tide carry you out there, man. You
Like
can't
Earl
be
said,
on
man, he just blue as my heart is like a shark's fin, dog.
right. You can't be on the shore with your feet in the ankle high water with floaties on, man. You gotta go out there, man. The problem is Terence Crawford ain't want to go out there because he know he gonna drown, man.
Mm-hmm.
That deep water, it ain't for everybody, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. I always thought Dennis Ugas was better than Crawford. I believe, I believe a healthy Dennis Ugas could beat Crawford, but Dennis Ugas couldn't stand to the truth.
Man, Errol Spence fought undisputed 2 times over when he fought Kell Brook and he fought Dennis Ugas. He fought the undisputed fight 2 times over. Terence Crawford is Hagler versus Hearns 2.0, but worse. That's what y'all motherfuckers don't understand. This is actually a downgrade for Errol Spence. Errol Spence is fighting a 140-pounder. This is why I call him the Black Mikey Garcia. This is actually an easy fight for Errol Spence. A very fucking easy fight. Because once he starts punishing Terence Crawford, Crawford is not going to be able to withstand the blows. I broke this shit down to you guys 3 years ago when I told
Well,
y'all
he can't
this
understand.
fight is going to go by basically who can handle pressure, who can handle punishment. Crawford can't handle Spence's punishment. But Spence, because of the way his body is built, too big, too durable, and too forward tough, you can't fold Spence. You want to know how strong Spence is? Go look at him when he fought his first fight at 154 against a guy by the name of Emmanuel Larty. He took the motherfucker shot. His feet didn't even buckle. And he just kept on going like he was the Terminator. That was the fight when you realize his chin was the Terminator.
Right.
If he could take that kind of shot, what the fuck you think Terence Crawford gonna do to this guy?
And people need to realize something about Spence. You know why Spence had to fight somebody at 154 even though he was fighting at 147? Because motherfuckers didn't want to fight him, man.
Yep.
Spence had already had a reputation of being a bruiser. For the amount of money they was getting paid, they didn't want to fight him. It was a throwback to like Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler could barely get any fights. They had to go and petition Congress to get Marvin Hagler certain fights because motherfuckers didn't want to fight him because he was a bruiser, and they felt like the money wasn't going to add up to the asshole they were from the partake in.
Yep.
That's why I feel like I always feel like Errol Spence is the second coming of Marvin Hagler. I've been saying that shit. And when I say that, people are like, no, man, you hate on him. You got to compare him to Floyd. He always going to be compared to Floyd because Floyd mentored him and Floyd brought him in and him and Floyd, they sharpen each other's iron. So they're always going to be mentioned together. But as far as style, as far as my nostalgia, what I know about boxing, Errol Spence to me is the second coming of Marvin Hagler, and that ain't nothing to thumb your nose at. Marvin Hagler was a 10 or 11-year reigning middleweight undisputed champion.
Facts.
A real middleweight, not this Canelo bullshit. A real middleweight. Because when you go to 160, you stand on the crown till somebody knock you off, or you move up to 168 and you dominate. That motherfucker stood on the crown until he was robbed by Sugar Ray. The boxing don't rob you. The boxing commission robbed you. The boxing don't rob you. So in the Sugar Ray Leonard fight, he was robbed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he clearly won that fight.
Right.
And you're right, because there's transitional weight classes in boxing. There's only 4 weight classes that matter in boxing. That's 147, 160, 175, and heavyweight. Everything else is a downside to it. Everything else is like basically second rate. But those are the weight classes. Those are the weight classes that define you as a boxer. So when people say Terence Crawford got undisputed at 140, 140 ain't shit. 140 is basically JV to basically 147. Now it's not varsity. 147 is the pros. And then on top of that, Terence Crawford won his belt at 140 fighting D- competition. So really, what did he do special?
But I'll tell you this though. When I hear the word undisputed, it has a literal meaning, but in boxing, undisputed, just being undisputed, it don't really it don't give me the warm and fuzzy. I have to go and I have to see how you got it. Because on paper, undisputed is undisputed. But you take somebody like Canelo, right? Canelo got undisputed while not having the WBC belt. And right? And somehow getting it, and somehow getting Benavidez's belt.
Rippy Brazy, crawfish, ducking, and hiding again. Donate to motivate, dog. Ain't nobody telling y'all this shit the way me and Ross told y'all. Everybody that's in here should be donating to us because we were the ones telling you this shit since 2019. There's nobody on YouTube that can definitively say what we said since 2019. So donate to motivate.
What motherfucker don't realize is if this social media site that Kanye finna pop off, for me, I'm leaving YouTube because motherfuckers will sit and listen to you talk all day and know they love the content and will not donate, man.
Mm-hmm.
Know you love it.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? I'm not gonna try and make nobody feel guilty for not donating. Y'all do whatever y'all want. That's just something to think about. But back to what we
Well,
was talking
in this instance, they need to feel guilty because we've been telling these motherfuckers this shit. Y'all act like y'all just got a light bulb moment right now. No, we told you this shit 3 years ago. The problem with me and Ross is, and we're always gonna have that problem because when you are anointed and chosen ones, you're always 3 years ahead of people. You always are 3 years ahead of people. That's just the way you roll. So it's always gonna take y'all 3 years to catch it. But I'm hearing people, hey, he knows when you coming back with the videos. The reason why this shit is getting overwhelming with it, shit, I even have Ross say, yo, man, I need you to start doing these videos. People love the oration, they love the talk, they love the speech, but talking, oration, and speech ain't free. And I need to see the overwhelming support. I need to see y'all motherfuckers come back overwhelmingly with the
right.
support. Until I see that, until I feel that, until I notice that, this is what y'all getting. And y'all just gonna have to eat that.
Man, salute with me, baby, man. This shit
Salute with me,
crazy.
baby.
This motherfucker is just he's holding it down by himself. But
Yeah.
but yeah, man. I always knew. I knew it, man. Cause I'm thinking about it in a natural sense and in a boxing sense, even in a natural sense.
Mm-hmm.
In a natural sense, if you at school or you've been talking and you on the block and be like, man, when I run to such and such, I'm gonna beat such and such ass. But you know where such and such at. Such and such know where you at.
Mm-hmm.
And but you such and such got a problem with you. You talking about you want to fight him. You know where he at, but you never go to his block. You
Yep.
know he hoop at this park at this time. You never go to where you hoop at.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all go to the same school somehow. Y'all don't never run into each other at school. You don't want to fight, man. You don't want to
Exactly.
fight. You don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? When a nigga send you over a contract, mind you, you've been doing business with Bob Arum. So when
Mm-hmm.
Al Heyman sends you over a contract, you already know it's better than anything Bob Arum been giving you, because you got a whole case on Bob Arum, but you
Yep.
never made this fuss about a Bob Arum contract where you suing Bob Arum. But you
Yep.
get over here, you want to make a fuss about an Al Heyman contract.
Yep. And
Okay,
this is, you
fine.
know what this confirms, Ross? It confirms that Bob Arum was about to feed him to Spence. This is why he left Bob Arum. And I
That's
want
why
you
you
to
love
harp
me.
on that. Because
All right.
Bob Arum was about to feed him to the damn shark. And he was feeling some type of way. Notice Terence Crawford, where's this discrimination? Where is this black on white lawsuit? How come it's dead in the water? How come it's dead in the fish?
That
How come it's
lawsuit,
not being talked about no more? Y'all gotta stop being stupid, being
that
stuck
law,
on fucking stupid.
that lawsuit was null and void because guess what? Terence Crawford went over there knowing that how they do business, how the top rank does business is they fight in house with all their guys all the time. It's the only
Mm-hmm.
fights they really. It's the only fights they really make in house with them and Eddie Hearn. They fight those guys and Golden Boy. They fight those guys only. They don't fight PBC fighters, but they talk shit about PBC fighters for 8, 9 fights, and then once they on the back end of their career, they get fed to the PBC. So Terence Crawford knew at some point he was gonna have to fight Errol Spence, and right before that point came, he was gonna do this goofy shit.
Nah, you know I gotta give my nigga the real Marlo TV
Real model
credit.
TV, what's up, man?
That nigga's been straight up copacetic from day one with this shit too. Definitive. Not no 50-50 shit. He's been definitive. He's been the voice that's been talking to y'all, telling y'all motherfuckers that Spence was gonna wash Crawford, dog. But I know you
And
got some shit that you want to say about Real Marlo TV too, Ross.
and he's the man, not the rest of them niggas. He's the nigga who came up with Errol Spence is the eye collector, man. That's
Yep.
the nigga that been saying that shit, man.
Yep.
I see myself as a funny nigga. I see he knows as a funny nigga. But this nigga is a funny nigga, man. And he the one that came up with that shit, man. And I was
Mm-hmm.
jealous. I was jealous. I ain't come up with it. But
Mm-hmm.
my jealousy is more so. not a hated thing. My shit was like, damn, I wish I would have said that shit. Nah, you know what I mean? I can't do shit but sit back and laugh because he the one that came with the eye collector shit. So these niggas that be trying to use it, I think Bossa Ego stole it, and another nigga stole it. I can't remember the name. This is the nigga that came up with that shit, real model TV. And they got videos with all the niggas' eyes. The nigga got video with all the niggas' eyes that Errol Spence took, man. They movie as hell for that shit. That shit was funny. But anyway, get back to what I was saying.
I want to say this too about the Real Model TV. I see it, the Real Model TV. I appreciate the inspiration I've given you over the years, because I look at the eye collector as synonymous as keeping the foot on the neck. Because niggas wasn't saying keeping the foot on the neck. I remember when I said that shit kind of went it went like viral. It went fucking global, man. Everybody was saying it everywhere. I saw channels saying this shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I said, when he said that, I couldn't help but be impressed. I said, when I saw that saying before it went off, I said, I don't even know if the Real Marlo TV realized what he got right here, but this shit about to take off. From a guy who knows shit that's gonna take off, I said that saying right there is gonna take off. And when it took off, I wasn't even surprised. I was impressed by the fact that it took the fuck off, because the thing is when you have a punchline, it's not even about the punchline. It's about a punchline that fits your personality.
Yeah.
And the shit that I told you, the game that I told you, Real Marlo, it's the same game that I told Ross, the same game I told everybody that came on this YouTube shit. Be you to your T. And if you be you to your T and you don't fake the funk for nobody else, you're going to be able to stand out. And that's what you did. Yep. You was yourself, because you have two sides to you. The other side to you that people don't understand is I call you the Black Mike Carpenter. And the reason why I call you the Black Mike Carpenter is because you always breaking shit that motherfuckers really don't. They be like, damn, where the fuck this shit came from? I remember this because when you was on your rise, Barbershop Conversation was stealing your sound bites. And remember I told you I went on your channel and I kept sending you comments. I'm like, why this nigga keep saying the shit you say after you say it? At first, he tried to friend you to make it seem like he was buddying with you, but then he was stealing your shit. And then that's when I said, okay, because I had the same shit happen to me too. Motherfuckers just steal your shit and they don't give you credit, and then they take the shit and then they run with it. So when I saw that was happening, I was like, okay, the Real Marlo TV about to blow up. When his time come, and then you had that situation that happened with your brain, and then you took some time off. Yeah, I don't forget, man. I remember all that shit. But then you came back stronger than ever after your hiatus and your sabbatical. And once you came back, it was over, man. It was constant pressure on these motherfuckers. But one other dude that I got to give credit to, Would Stay Real TV, God rest his soul. He's no longer on this earth. He's dead. But I made a promise to him that I'm going to take on the mantle of attacking the cult-like following. That's what he was doing. So I take that mantle. That's another stand-up motherfucker that said it from day one, but ain't got shit for Spence. And he just said it. He summed it up like that. But Ross, I'm going to pass the mic to you because I just wanted to show love, man.
Yeah, man. So I always knew, and I was saying that. I said, man, this man don't want to fight him, because when you want to fight somebody, you make it easier. Now, harder. Why you think Errol Spence don't never acquiesce this much to get no fight? Errol Spence will never acquiesce this much to get no fight. He really want this fight, and ain't nobody ever did what you see what Bud is doing. Nobody, and none of Errol Spence's fighting partners have never went out in the media and said, I don't like this contract, blase, blase. This nigga don't want this fight, man. If this is the biggest fight of his, this is gonna be a big fight, because everybody really think Bud got a chance. The biggest fight of his life, this nigga don't want no parts of it. And he telling the media, I don't really need a fight with Spence. I'm really looking at the Jamel Charlo fight. Think about that, man. Not only do it's not the fact that him just losing. He don't want to lose to Spence because his name tied to Spence. So he rather, this is what he want to do. He want to fight somebody else, have them take his zero. Then he'll fight Spence. That way he can say he was already defeated when he fought Spence and he damaged. y'all gotta peep this shit, man. That's the new Duckies, man.
Mm-hmm.
The new Duckies is daring to be great. Fight somebody you know your ass is being there with. That way, people will take their mind off the niggas who you duck. Mike
Fact.
Garcia came all his ass all the way up to 140, 147 because he didn't want to fight none of them other niggas.
Well, let's go through a chronological order here. This is how you know Terence Crawford was ducking. Terence Crawford rather fight Mean Machine than fight Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia was going to expose him because let's be honest, Danny Garcia had a more decorated 140 bid than Terence Crawford. There's nothing that Terence Crawford did at 140 that was as impressive recently as what Danny Garcia did. Danny Garcia doesn't get enough credit for that. Terence Crawford ducked Keith Thurman, and this was Keith Thurman right after he was coming back from an injury. When Errol Spence had when Errol Spence had the car crash situation, this was an opportune time for Terence Crawford to go and collect the second belt. You could have fought Manny Pacquiao. You could have fought Keith Thurman. You didn't do that. So this is how you know Terence Crawford wasn't about shit. And then your Dennis Ugas G-checked him, man. Your Dennis Ugas was talking shit, telling him I beat your ass up in the amateurs twice. And I'm going to do those same numbers that I did in the amateurs in the pro. He didn't want no smoke with that dude either. And I'm going to tell y'all something right now. Crawford ain't nice like y'all think he is. Your Dennis Ugas would straight stop Terence Crawford. Those fucking haymakers, those right-hand haymakers that he was landing on Manny Pacquiao, I'm going to be honest with y'all, that motherfucker's just a little bit more sturdier than Crawford. Crawford ain't sturdy like that.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao.
You can watch the Mean Machine fight and tell that Crawford
Manny
fold.
Pacquiao got a chin, man. You got to hit him with a perfect shot to put him down.
Exactly.
You got a chin. You about to knock him down, but it take a lot to knock Manny Pacquiao. He done been in a fight for he done got hit down to 300 times. That nigga didn't get knocked out.
So you imagine if you Dennis Ugas is landing those fucking haymakers on Crawford, Crawford will get knocked the fuck out. Crawford does not have a chin.
Gown boy, I'm gonna stop Crawford, man. That's all I needed to see, man. This is not rocket science, man.
That's why Errol Spence, when he confronted him, he said, man, a one-legged gimp. You was going tooth and nail with a one-legged gimp, meaning Jose Benavidez. Y'all go and watch the fight. Do the film study on that fight. Crawford was, man, he was suffering in that fight. He was struggling. Bomac was damn near vomiting Big Macs, yelling at Terence Crawford, watching him get hit after hit, folded after folded, fucked up after fucked up, getting beat down by Jose Benavidez. Mm-hmm. The Jeff Horn fight. Why did it take forever and a day just to get Jeff Horn out of there, man? Come on, man. Y'all got to stop this shit. Y'all really got to stop this shit.
He'll struggle with, man. He'll struggle with Jeff Horn, man. The thing about it is, man, it's the problem is a lot of guys watch boxing because they just like violence.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize it's an art and it's a science to boxing. The science is mainly the training. The art and it's some skill that gets some science, but the art is the skill for mostly, right? The science is basically if you don't train right, if you don't eat right, you could lose a fight on the scales. That's the science of the shit. But it's an art too, and niggas don't realize it. Just fundamentally, if Spence come and fight a solid fundamental game, Crawford don't have a chance. Crawford has too many things wrong with the way he fight, man.
Right.
Crawford fight like he's much bigger, much stronger. He can take more punch. Like he can take Crawford fight like a nigga that got a heavy chin, heavy hands, and big as a motherfucker. But he not. You know what I'm saying? That's the way he fight though.
Hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. That where you think that shit came from? Crawford is the type of guy he does not like to get hit. So when he gets hit, all boxing fundamentals and techniques are out the door. So he wants to get that hit back. You can't fight like that. It was Spence. Spence is such a technically and fundamentally sound fighter that when you fight like that, you get folded. That's what was happening in the Chris Van Heeteren fight. Chris Van Heeteren was doing all that taunting shit with Spence, and Spence kept fucking his ass up round after round. Go listen to Chris Van Heeteren. This motherfucker look like he's 100 years old. This is what happens when you fight Spence. Spence ages you like you past retirement. Like you look like you've done your AARP card 3 times over. When Chris Van Heeteren was talking about Spence, I think it was 3 weeks ago, he said Spence is that type of dude. He hits you with 80% of power every time. 80%, 80%, 80%, 80%. And you feel it. Even the jab is 80%. The power in the jab is 80%. That's how Spence hits you. It's a constant 80% thump. That's damage. That's why you see Mikey Garcia at the end of that fight, when he went and fought Eric Morales in the exhibition fight. Eric Morales, a guy who was retired 10 years over, was wearing his ass out because Spence fucked him up. He basically retired this motherfucker into selling CBD oils. And that's why I got on Robert Garcia. Because when Robert Garcia says Terence Crawford beats Errol Spence, Robert Garcia knows damn well Terence Crawford ain't gonna beat no Errol Spence. He's just mad at the fact that Errol Spence retired his cash cow. Mikey Garcia was his cash cow. But who the fuck told you to tell Mikey Garcia to get in the ring with Errol Spence? You could have talked him off that ledge when he was on that stupid shit of being dared to be great.
Right.
Motherfuckers are sitting here saying, but Errol Spence didn't knock out Mikey Garcia. What he did to Mikey Garcia was worse. And we just found out a few months ago.
In his career,
Mikey Garcia came out and said he retired. Who fucking retired him? If we're doing 2 and 2 together?
Errol Spence. In his career. At the Errol Spence fight, he lost a charity match against Eric Morales. Eric Morales been drinking Tecates for the last 20 years.
There you go.
On the couch eating big burritos. Nigga even thinking about boxing. Nigga got off the couch, took a bite of his tostada, got up and beat the shit out of that Mikey Garcia, man. People always talk about one judge had important win in a close fight. A judge supposed to have you winning in a close fight. That's why it's close. And niggas like, name one judge who ever gave a round a buzz opponent in a win.
This is why I said Jaron Ennis is overrated because Spence fucked around Ross and softened up Chris Van Heeteren for Jaron Ennis. If Jaron Ennis wanted to show me he was on that Spence mode, he would have just said, okay, Spence, here's that. Thank you for the alley-oop. Now let me really end this guy. You end up having a draw with this guy, a DQ. I mean, come on. Really? Spence softened this motherfucker up for you. You supposed to finish this motherfucker.
Yeah, to me, Ennis hasn't even done enough to even be in this conversation right now.
Facts.
He ain't even did enough to be in this conversation. But damn, what was I about to say about Bud again?
It was something funny.
But with Bud, I forgot, bro. Let me just see what niggas are saying.
Okay, well, I'm gonna jump back on this. This is when y'all should know that Spence ain't nothing to deal with. Have y'all watched Sean Porter in the last fight that we covered this last weekend? Real Marla, I know you was live too yourself. I want y'all to watch Sean Porter. Sean Porter is permanently bloated. There's a reason for that. That's trauma. Ross, you box. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When a motherfucker gets permanent trauma, their body showcases it. It's called inflammation. I know it because I'm a health and wellness expert. But Ross is a boxer, so he understands it from that standpoint.
Yeah.
Inflammation, when it hits your body, it blows you the fuck up. And if it is not managed, that shit is going to grow. When you look at Sean Porter, he has permanent trauma. He looks like he's a walking fart. Like he needs to just fart out that inflammation, fart out the bloatedness. That's because of the Spence fight. If you look at Sean Porter before the Spence fight, he never looked like that. Never. This is why Derrick James famously said, when you go 12 rounds with Errol Spence, you are no longer the same fighter. Because when Errol Spence goes 12 rounds with you, he washes you, man. That's where that washing terminology comes from. That's where that big fish terminology comes from. But see, the problem with a lot of motherfuckers, because they're mediocre in their lives, they don't like special. Special begets special. A lot of niggas are regular, so they want parity. They want regular. Right. They didn't want to see Errol Spence become who he was because they were mad at the fact that Floyd was who he was. And they didn't want to see that again. Another one dude that is just better than everybody else. Fuck that shit, man. We don't want that. One guy that's washing everybody. We didn't want that. Floyd was doing it from a copy box standpoint. They thought that shit was done and over with. Here comes Spence. Here comes Freddie Roach watching Errol Spence spar with Adrian Broner, fucking Adrian Broner up and saying they call him the truth because there's no lies in his damn fist. Here comes Richard Schaefer after the Mikey Garcia fight that says we left the Mayweather era and we ushered into the Spence era. These were terminologies from guys that know the inner knowings of the sport that should have told you that this was the next guy. Y'all should have paid attention. Bob Arum wanted to sign Errol Spence before he even looked Terence Crawford's way. The only reason why he signed Terence Crawford is because he couldn't get Errol Spence. Did y'all motherfuckers even know that shit?
Mm-hmm. The problem with most boxing fans is they don't follow boxing correctly. You can't follow boxing through ESPN. ESPN is always late with what they think they know, and ESPN always got a narrative against the confident, self-made guy, self-made black guy. If you're not white owned, ESPN don't fuck with you. So you can't go to ESPN for your boxing. You'll be better off going on YouTube and finding you a YouTube channel than you would get it from ESPN. Straight up, because ESPN always late and they always got a narrative, and they don't. And that's why people be so late to the fucking party. Everybody's so shocked that Bud ducking right now. Everybody's so shocked. I've been called this shit, man. I've been called this shit, man, because you are not what you say. You aren't what people think you are. You are consistently. You are what you do consistently, and consistently. Since this nigga been at 147, he has avoided top competition. He's been calling one name.
What did you tell me to bring back? Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence.
Right. He's avoided top competition. Because if he was really about that smoke, when Spence was hurt, he'd have been fighting the competition to get him near that level to where he could even be in the ring with Spence. The people he has fought at 147 did not prepare him to be in the ring with such a monster.
Yep.
Did not prepare him. You mean to tell me Mean Green could prepare him? You mean to tell me Benavidez prepared him for Spence? This is gonna be bad, man. This fight is gonna be like when San Francisco played the Chargers, man, in the Super Bowl.
Well, see, this is what I try to tell you, Harlem Hemp 831. Oh, Ross, I'm gonna give you the mic back. I just want to say this again. A Chihuahua walking behind the damn fence. When I say terms, I'm 3 years ahead with my terminology, dog. So when you catch the term and it finally hits, it's hitting you right now. You hearing it right now. It's making sense right now. But I've been saying it. So now it's hitting hard because Spence came out and called the bullshit out. And now y'all motherfuckers ain't got no choice but to accept it. Because he's tired of the fucking ducking. He's
think about it. A lot of motherfuckers, when they think dogs, they don't think about Chihuahua. So they be forgetting a Chihuahua's nature. A Chihuahua is the angriest dog in the world until you get within striking distance. You can have a Chihuahua behind that gate. That Chihuahua will go crazy on a pit bull, styling, talking big shit. Then once that gate open, the Chihuahua will piss on himself.
Yeah.
And either they'll take off running or they'll just stay there shaking, shivering. And that's why niggas was saying the Chihuahua behind the fence. Because now, guess what? The fence open.
Exactly. I had a Bichon Frise, a French poodle. This Chihuahua hit her in the face, and I saw the look on her face, and I said, "Oh shit!" When she catch this motherfucking Chihuahua, it's over. Because first and foremost, my dog's not that dog that I had. She passed away. God rest her soul. And she was a smart motherfucker. That dog is not a violent dog.
Right.
But she's the type that she ain't gonna start, but she's gonna finish. One day she heard the Chihuahua barking, and I didn't have her on the leash, and she just disappeared on me. I was looking for her for like 30 fucking minutes. And my ex-wife at the time was like, "Where is she?" I said, "I don't know." So I went to go look for her. I see her in the back. She's on top of the Chihuahua, fucking the Chihuahua up.
Right.
And I was laughing my ass off. And that's when I realized Chihuahuas ain't shit. And then the owner comes out, and then the owner's like, your dog is on my fucking dog. I said, man, fuck you.
Right.
Your dog swiped at my dog. Do you see that hit on my dog's face? Just let them do what they do. Matter of fact, my dog is teaching your dog a lesson right now. My dog was on top of that damn Chihuahua wearing that fucking Chihuahua out. And this is a Bichon. This ain't even no pit bull or nothing like that. So when I say Terence Crawford is a for Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence, I know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Because first hands, Chihuahua are the weakest fucking dogs. They bark, 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 but once they get in front, they ain't doing shit.
The gate is now open, man. That's the problem, man. The thing about it is, it ain't just Bud. Everybody on Top Rank, except for Shakur Stevenson. And even then, you know, I need to see him against some PBC fighters. But the eye test telling me Shakur Stevenson is different. But everybody on Top Rank, and I since Manny, has been smoking mirrors, man. They have not been what they've been touted to be. Even Manny, in a sense. Because what they do is they fuck it up for even the guys that are good, because they give it ESPN and they overrate everybody that's top ranked. They overrate them. So once you get overrated, you can never be. You're always gonna be looked at as if you're a flop, because once you get put under pressure, you're gonna fold, and niggas gonna be like, "Oh, you was never good," but that's not the fact. You could have been some good. You was never good as you was presented to be. That's the problem, right? But Crawford could fight, but Crawford was never on Errol Spence level to begin with. That's the thing. He was never on his level, man. Because you got ask yourself, you only as good as your competition, and who is Bud competition, man?
D- competition.
Who is his competition, man? Think about
Tomato cans.
Think about it.
Spence leftovers.
Who has Bud in a prime that was that nigga, man? He ain't never did it. He ain't never did it. And now that he got a chance to fight a top welterweight, he talking about he don't like the front. He don't like the front on the fucking contract. He talking about the contract got too many punctuation. I don't like the punctuation on it. It's too loud. It's too aggressive. He talking about all type of goofy shit with the contract, man. This nigga don't like the paper the contract printed on. Hey man, print that shit on put that shit on some off-white paper, man. I don't like that bright ass paper. Put it on some off-white paper, man. I ain't gonna sign it since it's on off-white paper. The nigga trying to find any reason not to sign, man. That nigga come in at the last minute like John Hancock to sign the Declaration of Independence, man. The nigga did not want to fight. He did not want to take that fight, man, because he knows.
Because he knows. You see, this is the thing with Crawford. Crawford, that's why he went to the Hall of Fame. When he went to the Hall of Fame, it was like a flash. You know how people have their life flash before their eyes? When he was at that Hall of Fame, his life was flashing before his eyes. Shit. He looked at James Toney, a nigga that said that this is a dude that can beat Errol Spence. You're like, man, I can't trust what you saying because look at you. You stuttering. Do I really want to be like you from an Errol Spence beating? Because that's exactly what Terence Crawford is going to become. If I'm Terence Crawford, the best thing that I would do right now is make a public proclamation and just say, I don't want to fight Spence because I value my health more than anything else. I would respect Terence Crawford more if he said that than do the bullshit that he's doing right now, because he knows that's exactly what he doesn't want to do. He thought he was going to move up and not be at 147 anymore. He thought that. He thought Errol Spence would be at 154 by now. That's why you saw he was doing all that barking. It was to promote himself. Notice he always mentions Spence's name every fight. It was to promote himself because, like Spence said, that day when everybody thought Spence was drunk or whatever, and he kind of was, he was tipsy. When Spence said, Top Rank promotes smoke and mirrors. Terence Crawford is smoking mirrors. Bob Arum is smoking mirrors. When Spence was saying that shit, and Spence kept saying, who the fuck did he fight? Who's better than Chris Algieri? You can't name an opponent that Terence Crawford has fought that's better than even till this day that still reigns heavy. Let's not talk about all the Spence opponents after Chris Algieri. There's not an opponent that Terence Crawford has fought that's better than Chris Algieri. Spence is right.
Yeah, Crawford ain't been fighting nobody, man. The thing about Crawford is this: Crawford is one of those least passive resistance type niggas. Even when he got undisputed, he wasn't whooping no real nigga for undisputed. He was fighting for vacant belts and shit. You know what I'm saying? Number one contenders and shit. Like niggas that wasn't no champions, but getting inside the belt because they're a contender. He wasn't really he ain't run through 140 like Spence ran through 147, knocking off champions for their belts.
Yep.
He didn't do that. And a lot of people like to say, motherfuckers always like to say that Crawford is the next best thing to Mayweather. Well, what's the proof in that? Because when Mayweather was at 147, he was the man at 147 all times. Every time he came back, he was the man at 147.
Do you know Spence called out every champion? The only champion that accepted the belt, and even then he accepted after he tried to duck. He tried to do an advanced level of ducking and fight Triple G. Kell Brook. But Spence called out Danny Garcia, who was a champion at the time. He called out Keith Thurman, who was a champion at the time. He called Sean Porter, who was a champ. All those guys ducked Spence. And they even said, they said to Floyd knew how good Spence was because Floyd said, if y'all beat Spence, I'm going to pay y'all. Floyd was willing to pay motherfuckers $10 million just so that they could fight Errol Spence. These guys weren't making $10 million paydays. Those guys duck Errol Spence. That's how you know somebody's a real boogeyman. When your payday is 3 to 4 times more than what you average, and you still don't want to fight the dude. Right. That's a duck.
Because the thing is, let me put this contract shit into context for y'all. Errol Spence, Bud Crawford was mostly paid on a flat rate. Every now and then it will exceed and the flat rate was $2 million. No matter who he was fighting, the nigga would get $2 million off the bat. Every now and then he'll get 3.5. Think about this shit, man. Think about this shit. That's what he used to. Just that little money. So he turned down a contract with Spence where he was taking $2 million every fight. Think about that, man. The nigga don't want to fight.
Exactly.
That's what he's saying by doing all this shit. He's saying, so me personally, he could say the soliloquy. I don't need to hear him come out and say he's scared of Spence. Just vacate the belt, man.
There you go.
Stop holding undisputed. So Spence can go ahead and get that and get the fuck on.
Exactly.
And go ahead and accept the fact that you ran and you dropped the belt. You ain't got to say it. Just ask me. I'm about action. Because a nigga will say that shit and still hold on to the belt so you can't get it. Like, no, nigga, don't say nothing. Just vacate the belt. If you ain't
That's all I want. All I want from Terence Crawford is I just want him to duck to prove that he's a duck. Just prove it. Just be open and frank about it. You don't want to fight Spence. You are afraid of him. You saw what happened. Go look at his energy in the Udenis Ugas fight. He hasn't been the same. But I'm going to tell you when he got real scared. 2 things that Errol Spence did, and this is how you could tell Errol Spence is a genius and his intelligence levels are off the charts. When he went on IG and he did that emblem of a shark, and he showed the weapon that the shark has, like basically to show that I'm knocking down your fucking door. Psychologically, that fucked with Bud. Bud ain't been the same since. And then the second one, when Bud was trying to go back and forth and talk to him and say this and say that and blah, 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 Spence said, man, when that bell fucking ring, ain't gonna be nobody to save you. Not your mom, not your sister. No one's gonna be able to save you. His ass ain't been the same since because psychologically, you have to understand about psychological warfare. You win the battle before you even step into the war.
Right.
Fuck Bud up with that because Bud is the type of dude, he has to verbally spit back with you back and forth. A lot of his opponents fall into that shit. And psychologically, Bud ends up having an advantage going into the fight. Spence is a quiet dude. He ain't got time for that. So he didn't even give Terence Crawford what Terence Crawford wanted. So that has been reigning in Terence Crawford's mind. And psychologically, he's been fucked ever since.
Yeah, think about it. If Terence Crawford take this fight, he gonna lose a lot of niggas' money, man. Cause there's people who hate a confident alpha so bad that they going for Bud just because they don't like Errol Spence. And we asked them why they don't like Errol Spence. They were like, man, because he's too cocky. He fully under control, like he never had no pressure. So I want to see him. And like they sound like bitches. That's what bitches do. When you're a man and you confident, a bitch will do goofy shit to put you under pressure. This is how you gonna handle it. Childish shit, man. When you're a man and you doing that, and sometimes you got beta male ass bosses, they do that too at work. Everything going good, they'll do some goofy shit, try to put some pressure on you so they can sit back and watch you and shit. Like that's what women do, man. And this nigga right here, he always want to sit back. He always want to start some shit and sit back and see how you handle it, because that's what your girl do, right? You getting ready to go out with the boys. Don't your bitch always start an argument? Everything good all day until you start getting ready.
They start an argument one or two ways. One or two ways. This shit happened to me in every relationship I've been in. Either it's when you're going out with your boys to Hooters. It always has to be something related to a female. You're going out to Hooters, you're going out to a strip club, or if there's a neighbor that lives there and she looks just as good as your chick, if not better. You are going to always hear it. But guess what? You know what that does? It always gives you access to fucking your woman too, because she's too busy in her mind being wrapped up about that motherfucker that you have the leverage. All you have to do is not say much and just let it play itself out.
Not saying the thing is, but the source of that energy that drives people to do that is insecurity. It's insecurity, and that's the reason why me personally, when dealing with a chick, if at any point I can't trust her no more because she did some flaw shit, I'm done fucking with it. Cause I'll be damned if I'm sitting around insecure because I can't read a bitch, right? But that's the thing about it. He can't read Errol Spence, so he's sitting around insecure like a bitch. He's sitting around insecure like a bitch, and he's sitting around waiting for Errol Spence to respond to him. That's what the bras do, man. A bra to say some shit out the way, some goofy shit, just so you can say something back, so she can get some energy from you, man.
The other thing when they say, I know you was sleeping with her, I know you fucking her, just say yes. Just say that. Just say yes. That's what you want to hear, right?
I always say
it fucks with them when you say that, because then it's like, well, shit, I didn't expect him. I expected him to go back and forth and say, no. A lot of goofy ass niggas always say, no. Well, that's what you expected.
No.
That's what you wanted. You wanted me to say yes. So yeah. Me and her. Matter of fact, the other day, me and her was talking. That shit starts fucking with them. It starts making their mind go other places. Then when they see the chick, they get all extra. And then when they get around you, they want to hold you a little tighter. They want to be around you a little extra.
Right.
I mean, if you just play your cards right and don't say much and just, that's why I say psychological warfare, everything will always work out in your favor. And that's what Spence has done to Terence Crawford by sitting there and saying little psychological shit like, why they got Bud? Y'all didn't catch that shit. Y'all didn't catch that shit when Spence did that. He was basically saying Terence Crawford is beneath him. Right. Why they got this Omaha nigga sitting next to me? Y'all don't catch little shit like that. Right. I catch every little thing. That was a way to make Bud feel like you're not on my level. If you notice, Bud, like a bitch, went on Instagram, went on Twitter, and started just rambling like women do. Ramble. He was rambling all over social media, talking shit. Man, that's why that nigga ducking me. Every time Spence dropped one comment, Bud got to throw 7 or 8 comments his way. It's because Spence has psychologically been fucking this motherfucker up.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know how to deal with that. Bud is a guy, his demeanor is he has to have control of a situation. But the problem is he was raised by a woman, and he basically had a woman defend him, and his mother and his sister. He never had a man in his life that basically gave him that male energy. Errol Spence has his father. That you can see the difference in their upbringing. One carries himself in a full testosterone-filled masculine way, and the other one carries himself in a very estrogen-filled way. And that's why, just based on those principles alone, Errol Spence beats Terence Crawford. Upbringing tells you that. Forget the fight. Just look at their upbringing. But y'all don't see that because most guys are mama's boys. That's why most guys identify with Terence Crawford. Because like Terence Crawford, they've been in his situation. They can't identify with Spence, man. They don't even understand what that's all about. So when they see Spence is too cool, calm, and collected, they see he's too confident. They see he's too like, I don't understand this. This is why Floyd was the way he was, because Floyd had his father in his life, man. When you have a strong masculine voice in your life that tells you, man, you can go through the hardest shit, you will endure it. It won't be like nothing. Because people keep wondering how you keep coming out of the fire stronger than ever. Then I had 4 catastrophic things that happened to me from 39 to 40. That's why I also took time off. I ain't going to sit here and tell y'all that shit because that ain't for y'all. That's between me and God. But I had 4 catastrophic things that has happened to me, and I'm stronger than ever. Why? Because I'm a masculine male. I know how to handle my shit. I know how to handle my fire. And the only person that I need to give that energy to is God. That's it.
Right.
So when motherfuckers see me come back out and they like, damn, he's still standing? Yes, I'm standing stronger than ever. Because I had a father in my life that taught me what masculinity was all about. And always told me, grab my fucking nuts when it's all said and done. So that's what I do. If I don't know how to do anything else, I know how to grab my fucking nuts, live in the fucking gym, and be a purposeful masculine male. That's what I know. Everything else folds. These things ain't folding. And that's why motherfuckers can't see me. They can't fuck with me. And they wonder how this motherfucker always come out stronger. That's what Errol Spence is. That's what I identify with. So when you see I pick a certain boxer, it's because I see my personality. I don't give a fuck about the motherfucker. I see my personality in that motherfucker. I don't see my personality in Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford is a weak individual. He's mediocre as fuck. There's nothing about Terence Crawford that I can identify with.
Right. For sure, man. And it goes to show you just how many people who are like him, you know what I'm saying? Even Boston communities, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the finance and the barbershop conversations and the showbiz, the adults, these people, they have that Terence Crawford heart in them, man. That's the reason why they're so wishy washy. You know what I'm saying? Don't say nothing with don't say nothing with authority. Always on both sides. Always talking about keep it boxing. You know what I'm saying? Whenever a tough conversation come along, they want to keep shit boxing. Yet they don't even know boxing. You know what I'm saying? How the fuck you supposed to keep it boxing? You don't even know what the fuck you talking about half the time. That's a problem I have with these niggas.
Exactly. You said it best. And that's what people got to understand because people don't get it. And I don't know how many times I have to say this shit over and over again. And I'm going to keep saying it over and over again until y'all get it. This is the difference. This is why people got to understand you cannot compare Errol Spence with Terence Crawford. If you guys understand psychology and how people, the human psychological component and how people think, you wouldn't even look Bud's way. You would automatically know from a psychological standpoint, Bud has no business being in the ring with Spence. Spence is too confident for him. Spence is too absolute and resolute in the way he comports himself. Just look at his stance. Spence's stance is a stance that only understands forward progression. Dominating front foot fighter I've ever seen. This guy does not fold on the front foot, and he does not get off a center line mask. He moves your ass off a center line mask. You want to know what I'm talking about? Go look at the Sean Porter fight. Sean Porter tried to move Errol Spence off a center line mask, and what happened? He fell in the fucking 11th round.
Yep. That's how that shit go, man. That's how that shit go. At the end of the day, man, like a couple of gentlemen have said in the chat, after Terence Crawford watched that fight where you did his ugas, the part of him who thought he wanted some smoke did not want any smoke. It was over with at that point. Terence
Yeah, he
Crawford.
came into a realization at the end of that fight that shit, this motherfucker right here, I didn't know he was back to bull, but Spence told you. He told y'all niggas that shit before the Danny Garcia fight. He said, I'm back to bulldozing niggas. Danny Garcia wasn't a nigga though, so he couldn't bulldoze him. But once you Dennis Ugas came, the first nigga showed up. What happened? The first nigga on the block got bulldozed. So when he said he was back to bulldozing niggas, it was actual niggas he was talking about. So he had to prove the point. And Terence Crawford, last time I checked, he's a nigga, right? So his ass getting bull fucking dozed.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, man. But yeah, man, once again, I'm talking about once again, we came with another banger, man.
Of course, man. That's what we do, man. We always come with bangers. And if people understand that and people get it, they'll understand that our voice will always reign supreme and we have no equals because we say shit 3 years ahead of the landscape. That's just the way we roll. So once this fight grows into fruition, I believe it's February, because I've been watching this fight like crazy because like I told Ross, man, we're going to link up in Vegas and we're going to cover this fight. I believe the fight is going to happen February 4th. When it does, y'all probably going to start hearing chatters about it late November because, you know, they need 3 months to build this shit up because this is like going to be the biggest fight since Floyd and Pacquiao. And the only reason why Spence is going to get this fight, no matter how much Terence Crawford is ducking him, is because when Al Heyman promised you something, that's what I like about Al Heyman. Al Heyman's word is law. When he promises you something, he's going to give it to you. Al Heyman promised Spence that I'm giving you Terence Crawford on the platter because he wants Spence to be undisputed. So that's the only reason why Spence is getting the fight. This is not going against our ideology of saying that Crawford is ducking Spence. Crawford is ducking Spence. But the only reason why this fight is happening is because Al Heyman has promised Spence Crawford on the platter. And he's going to get that. So when this fight happens February 4th, y'all going to watch me and Ross in Vegas laughing. When you hear two niggas laughing together at the fact that Crawford is getting fucked up, y'all know. Because I'm going to that fight definitively, probably halfway tipsy, laughing. That's just me. Because I already know what the outcome is going to be. So I don't know about y'all. I don't know if y'all going in there crazy. I don't know if y'all going there nervous. I don't know what y'all thinking. Me, I'm going in there feeling like that because I already know what the outcome of the fight is going to be. I expect punishment. I expect mauling. I expect damage. I expect brutality. And I expect Terence Crawford to say I am officially retired from the sport after that fight. That's what I expect.
Man. That's the truth, man.
Is there anything else you want to say, bro?
No, man. That's about it, man. We done let you motherfuckers know we called in the beginning. We called it while it was happening. Now we at the end. We called it again, man. Terence Crawford is a duck, and he's petrified. He's scared to fight Errol Spence.
That's it. I don't have nothing else to follow behind that. It was real. Y'all be easy. And that's why we did this impromptu live, because we had to remind y'all, we ain't going to let motherfuckers come in and steal the shine of what we said 3+ years ago. And that's all I got to say. It's been real. Peace.
Peace.